Hi, welcome back to Bent TV. This is the Film Whisperers, where two movie nerds dissect film and talk all things movies through a contemporary lens. I'm Matthew Wade.
And I'm Saj.
So, Saj, before we dive into this week's topic, I just wanted to know, do you watch a lot of weird movies, like strange stuff that makes you feel like, what am I seeing right now?
Not too often, but yes, I do.
Unintentionally, I'll watch a movie thinking this is going to be really good, and then I walk out being like, what did I just see? I remember seeing earlier this year High Life with Robert Pattinson. I don't know if you saw that.
I've heard of it.
It was like a sci-fi movie, and I was just expecting it to be a straightforward sci-fi movie, but spoiler alert, it is not. So if you're looking for something straight edge, it is not that.
I'm going to avoid that.
I've kind of prefaced it already, but what are we looking at today?
I thought we'll talk about the WTF movies, high school / teen movies that we've seen, and this could be, again, just looking at it from a contemporary lens. When we watch it now, do we go, what the hell? So,
and they do exist. I know, when people think of classic teen movies, they're generally kind of like the straightforward ones, but there are some strange ones that are in there too, or even the ways that they're represented, that the characters represented. So yeah,
I've got one.
Yeah.
So this was probably my favorite film when I was a teenager, and then I've watched it now as an adult, and I've had the WTF moment.
Wow.
It's Cruel Intentions.
I actually love Cruel Intentions.
It is, okay, so I guess it was a good film, and I'm using the term was, where in 2019, in a woke era, I cannot believe that's not a film that would ever survive in this day and age. The whole concept of this good-looking guy who takes advantage of girls, who is having this weird relationship with his stepsister, whose stepsister gives him a bet to deflower the principal's daughter, who's a virgin. I mean, it's just wrong.
Although, that's so true. That is true.
And I love Reese Witherspoon, and this is probably one of the first movies I saw of hers. I'd love to know what someone like her would have to say about it now, given that she's such a
reflecting,
feminist icon in Hollywood at the moment. That's my WTF movie to begin with.
That's true. Although not Reese Nicholson. What's his name again?
Ryan Phillippe.
There's a nice plug for local comedian Reese Nicholson. Ryan Phillippe, yeah. His character in the film, and same with Sarah Michelle Gellar, I know that what they do is, it's actually really twisted, right?
Yes.
But I feel like in the movie they are, the audience is supposed to feel that. They're not supposed to root for them. They're supposed to, they're portrayed in a way that that they're kind of, that they're being villainous. So it's showing you that that's actually not okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with that, because I remember watching it thinking as a teenager that Ryan Phillippe was so charismatic that he could do no wrong, and at the time I remember thinking, he needs to win this bet, and it's so problematic, and Catherine, who was Sarah Michelle Gellar's character, she was the one who was the villain, and and if I remember right, it was probably Sarah Michelle Gellar's first role as a villain, because she was known for Buffy, and then she did that, and that's probably one of the good things about the film. She was great as Catherine.
It was really good. A couple of lines in there, and I know I agree. They're kind of trying to target the virgin or the innocent character of Reese, but I do remember there are a couple of points in the movie where Sarah Michelle Gellar's character, who's very sex positive and all this kind of stuff, she makes a couple of, I remember there's some quotes, and I won't be able to quote them verbatim, but she's essentially pointing out the kind of double standard with men and women and how they're perceived when they sleep around. And I remember I just remember even when I was little, having no concept of what feminism or sex positivity was, thinking that's kind of cool. I remember feeling myself that was a really powerful thing that just happened, where she was God forbid, I exude confidence and sex and all this kind of stuff. I actually quite like that. But you're right, it's not perfect. Obviously, there are
because her character is also very backstabbing and conniving.
Of course,
So what would yours be?
I should revisit that one. A WTF movie. Well, it's not so much weird, but quite transgressive and strange in a way, is Jawbreaker. So Darren Stein, who is gay, I'm pretty sure he's a director. He did Jawbreaker in the 90s, and so even though Clueless is considered the quintessential 90s teen movie, for me, I love Jawbreaker, because it's basically really dark and straight and twisted. It's basically about a group of the popular high school girls who accidentally kill their friend,
Yes.
and then it's about them trying to cover it up.
Yes.
But for me,
who's in it? There's Rebecca Gayheart, Rose McGowan, and do you remember? Anyway,
I can't remember.
Yeah, that's one. Yeah.
But it was just so good. Like I remember, because like I mean I like horror movies, and this isn't a horror movie, but so for me, seeing like a teen movie wrapped up with like this kind of dark undertones of like sex and death and all this kind of stuff was quite interesting for me as like a teenager. And I remember there are scenes in it where Rose McGowan's character, who obviously is the villain again, but she's kind of like talking about kink, and like, you know, she goes to like this kind of fetish bar, which they're not necessarily portraying in like a positive light, but it was just kind of interesting to watch a teen film that had those elements in it, because oftentimes there's this panic where like parents and stuff are like, teenagers have sex, like what? Whereas like in this, it was more just like, yeah, like these teens actually are like, they get up to no good sometimes and like whatever, but it was in a fun way. It wasn't in a like, oh my God, we need to like, there's this sex panic, like lock up your teens, like make sure they're not doing anything bad. Like it was actually in like a fun kind of subversive way. So for me, like that one is like, should be on everyone's list, but it's like a WTF movie in the sense that it just is, it diverts from the norm. It's a bit different. Like it's just different to everything else that was out there.
Well, speaking of, I guess, not sticking to the norm, have you seen the film 13?
Oh, actually, I never watched it. I know what I remember that when it came out, but I actually never watched it.
Because that would be probably my second WTF movie because...
in a good or bad way?
In a good way, because that just, again, I remember when it came out, it was almost... It played like an expose of this is what teenagers are up to in this day and age. And it was shocking.
Yeah,
and it was, you watch it and it's quite scary, concerning.
That's what I was going to say. So did you get the impression that the movie was trying to like scare people like, oh, you better watch out, this is what kids are up to? It was supposed to be like educational, like,
it was both.
Okay.
And I believe it was an education for parents, as in this is what your kids are probably up to. And it was probably for, I believe I was still a teenager when it came out, it was more of a, oh, okay, this is what the younger people are doing in this day and age. And it had Evan Rachel Wood as a lead character in it, and she was really, really good.
That's what I think. I think a lot of teen movies, even though I love them, like they portray teens as like, they might have like issues with like relationships and stuff like that, but they're always like generally pretty like perky and happy and like sanitized, whereas there are some other films like 13 or Jawbreaker where it kind of highlights this other side, like where teens are flawed too and they can get up to bad things as well, and I kind of like that. I haven't seen 13 though.
Yeah.
Well, that's all we have time for today here at Bent TV. I hope you've gotten an amazing list of WTF teen movies to watch the next time you're having a marathon at home.
Or not to watch.
Or not to watch, that's true. Sorry, we're not endorsing all of these. But yeah, we'll see you next time at the Film Whisperers. This has been Bent TV.